Okay, well, welcome to this session. And the good news is this being recorded so we can direct students to hear about these opportunities in future as we feature them, and SIAM can feature them as well. These are opportunities for students at SIAM, and occasionally, if you're a member of SIAM, and you will not be forgiven if you're not a member of SIAM, but if you are a member, you will get something in the mail on occasion about some offer, either for support or a program or a meeting or a journal or a newsletter or you name it. And some of them are directed to students and some of them are directed to faculty. And Karen has been teaching at VMI and now is working at SIAM, and joyfully, I might add, and wants to share with us those opportunities for students. So Karen, you're on.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say thanks for letting me speak, and thank you to all of you for joining. I hope I can share some things that you don't know yet about SIAM, and we have a lot going on. So I am going to do my best to cover things. And as soon as I made these slides, I kept thinking of other things that I hadn't included. So should not think of this as an exhaustive list of the things that we do. But to begin, this is something I learned at West Point long ago. We should always give the bottom line up front, and that is that SIAM student membership is generally free. If you go to the website, it would be like some way to pay a really small amount of money. You don't need to do that. If you follow this QR code, or I'll have the link at the end of the talk, you can sign up for, well, you can give some information, and then I am magically able to make sure your membership is completely free. So, and if you are a SIAM member, you can also nominate others.
DJ said it was practice was good. I'm very excited. I'll send you my videos soon.
Okay. I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of things that SIAM has to offer, so you'll understand why you might want to get a SIAM membership, but just keep this in the back of your mind that if you're a student, that is totally free. Okay, so in general, I'm going to talk a little bit about what SIAM is. Some of the things that we do are conferences and meetings, journals, books. We have student chapters. I work in programs, so programs and initiatives are near and dear to my heart. Talk about some of the resources we have available for students, and then some leadership opportunities. And I'll circle back to explaining how you can get your free membership. Okay. SIAM is an international community of 13,000 individual members from 108 countries. So we have representation from academia, but also industry, labs, government. And in general, our mission is to advance the application of mathematics and computer science and computational science to engineering, industry, science, and society, promote research, provide a way for members to exchange information, and be a source of information for public and private agencies. So those are sort of our four different pieces of our mission. Among SIAM as an organization, if you belong to the organization, then you'll be a part of a geographic section. So that's a regional or national subgroup. And those subgroups then organize lectures, meetings, and other activities to serve the members in their region. So that's a really nice way to be able to go to a SIAM meeting. If you can't make it to one of the ones that's far away, they'll have these little regional meetings that are really awesome, and get to meet people who are in your community that you might want to work with. Membership in the geographic section is free and automatic for current SIAM members. So depending on where you live, we'll automatically place you in that SIAM geographic section. There are also sort of a different way to break up membership is with activity groups. And so these are really, or other organizations may call them different things, affinity groups. So depending on what your interest is, you might join an activity group, and then you could explore a particular area. And most of our activity groups have a conference that meets to talk about that specific thing every other year. We have 23 different activity groups, and I just named a few of them because there are 23 of them. So we have one for applied math education, one on equity, diversity, and inclusion, one on computational science and engineering, data science, life sciences, optimization. I mean, any sort of, there's one on parallel processing, any sort of math that you do, I think you probably could find an activity group that matches that. Okay, but I wanted to circle back and just say that our members and volunteers are the lifeblood of our organization. As a staff member, that has really been drilled into me even more than when I was just a member myself, that we really think about our members and what might serve their needs, and we listen to them. And make sure that we're providing an inclusive environment that encourages the open expression and exchange of ideas, uplifting and supporting those in our community. So that's generally who we are. Things that we do, I think SIAM is probably best known for conferences, journals, and books. So I wanted to start there. We have about 14, sometimes up to 20, depending on the year, conferences in any given year. Some of them have career fairs attached to them. And if we have a career fair, it's typically preceded by like a resume writing workshop or something to help with interviewing at a career fair. Students and early career professionals can apply for travel awards. So it's not necessarily going to cover all of your travel and registration, but it's a good way to offset some of the expenses if you want to go to one of those conferences. Maybe this is too early for you if you're a student, maybe not. We do have childcare grants available as well. So we want to make sure we're allowing everybody to be able to attend a conference. If they're willing to come, we'd like to make that happen for them. Okay. Some of the upcoming conferences and section meetings, like I said, there's a million of them, but these are just a handful of the ones that are coming up. Computational science and engineering. We have a section meeting in Tennessee coming up. Conference on data mining is going to be in May. And then I wanted to point out one a little bit further out, and that's our annual meeting. So our annual meeting is not specific to any one activity group, although we do have 2 activity groups that sort of glom onto the annual meeting. And this year it's going to be computational geometric design and then control theory and its applications. Also, this particular annual meeting in July is joint with the Canadian Applied and Industrial Mathematics Society. So we're actually going to be in Montreal this summer, and I'm super excited to be there. So if you can come, I would love to meet you. That would be nice. Okay, so that's a little bit about conferences, journals, and books. We have 18 peer-reviewed journals, and they're known to be really well-respected journals in math and computational sciences communities. We also have been publishing books for over 50 years, so I have no idea how many titles we have, but we have lots of them. And then there's lots of like series, which is kind of nice too. So there's a whole set of books all in one series. SIAM members get subscription perks and access to SIAM review and deep discounts on books and journals. So that's a good reason to get involved. At the undergraduate level, we do have something that's called SciEuro, SIAM Undergraduate Research Online. That's a web-based publication that's devoted to undergraduate research. So this is research done by undergraduates in applied and computational mathematics. Access to that particular journal happens to be free and open to the public. So if in the scope of any of your work that you're doing as a student, you should think you might want to publish, this is a really, really nice venue to publish in. So you might want to give that one some consideration. Okay. Okay, so another thing that we have at SIAM are student chapters. Okay, so if you are, student chapters are typically associated with a particular school. So your school may or may not have a chapter. If you do, it just gives students the opportunity to develop networks with faculty members outside of the classroom, learn about career options, develop leadership skills, and the chapter itself figures out what it is they would like to do. But we have had chapters that do things like have lunch discussions about career stuff. They bring in lectures by guest speakers, have social functions, trips to any labs or a SIAM section meeting. Student chapters, we really encourage an interdisciplinary spirit. So you don't have to be a math major to be a part of a student chapter. We'd love to have non-math majors join as well. And SIAM provides some funding for student chapters. I think it is $500 a year. So that can be used to provide food, that can be used to provide travel if you decide you want to attend a section meeting or something like that. So it's a really nice opportunity if your school doesn't have a chapter already for you to get one going. And there's a list of active chapters available on our website. So if you're not sure if your school has one, I would encourage you to look there and see. Okay. This is where I live in SIAM. I live in programs and initiatives. And so these in general are ways that we support students and professionals who are looking to broaden their educational and career opportunities. So there's a good way to build your network and expand your skills. So I'm going to talk about some of the particular programs that we have. The first one is for high school students, but I bring this up because it's one of my favorites. So this is the MathWorks Math Modeling Challenge, and it's an internet-based competition for high school juniors and seniors and the equivalent in England and Wales. Students will work in teams to solve some real-world problem, and they'll have 14 hours in which to, they'll see the problem for the first time, so it's a surprise what the question is, and then they will upload their solution within 14 hours. There's no registration or participation fees, but we do offer scholarship awards. So we end up giving out more than $100,000 in scholarships every year. And so it's a super exciting program. I would mention also that if you did find your way to the M3 Challenge website, there's a lot of resources there about math modeling. So for instance, if you are going to compete in SIAM's modeling competition, there's some resources I think that would be useful for you on the M3 Challenge website. We do probably pitch toward a high school audience, but I think when you're just learning about what math modeling is, that, like having a nice, friendly, easy introduction to it could be really nice. So you're welcome to go poke around there and see if any of those resources would be helpful to you in that respect. At the undergraduate level, we have a program called the SIAM Simon's Undergraduate Summer Research Program. And unlike Simiode, we are somehow not as good about coming up with titles that have nice, succinct, I tried to come up with some way to shorten this, and it never works out very well. So it doesn't have a good acronym. I refer to it as the SIAM Simons program. This program is sort of like an REU program, if you know what that is. So this is an opportunity for students to do research over the summer. We have 5 different sites across the US, and we'll have one mentor at the site, and then we'll send 2 students to the site for research and learning and applied math. The goal of this program is to broaden participation in math by students who are underrepresented and historically marginalized in our discipline. So we have, for the students who become participants in the program, they end up, we do some virtual sessions. So we'll do some career readiness kinds of things, and they'll engage with each other and present their work in hopes of building a sense of belonging. This program is really well funded by the Simons Foundation, so it covers all travel, lodging, meals, and has a generous weekly stipend. And then all the students travel to a SIAM conference the following summer. So the students who participated in 2024 will attend our annual meeting in Montreal this summer. So that's really fun too. So that's a research program we have at the undergraduate level. As you are moving into graduate school, if you are moving into graduate school, we have a couple of programs at that level. And the first one, there's sort of 2 programs that are linked: Graduate Student Math Modeling Camp and Mathematical Problems in Industry Workshop. So the camp part, GSMMC, is a 4-day training for graduate or advanced undergraduate. So it's not, it says graduate student in the title, but if you're an advanced undergraduate, you can apply to this one. And it's 4 days. Students work in teams, and they work on problems that faculty mentors bring. So they are modeling and problem solving types of problems, but the mentor brings something for which they have solved it. They have a solution, not necessarily the solution, but then they can help guide students through that modeling process and get them to a place where they can come up with a solution. In this year, that is going to be at California State Polytechnic University in Pomona, and in June. And the deadline for applying to that is April 16. All of the students who who participate in GSMMC then move on to Mathematical Problems in Industry workshop. And that is basically another 5 days of working on a modeling kind of problem. The difference here is that the problems are brought by industry representatives. So this is someone who works for a government lab, works for some sort of industry, and they bring a problem with them that they want a team to solve. And then the workshop participants break up into working groups that have faculty, scientists, postdocs, grad students, and the industrial representatives. And then they discuss the problems and work their tails off for 5 days to come up with a solution. On the last day of the workshop, then the groups present the results to each other. So the GSMMC part, the camp, is basically a training ground to kind of get ready for it. And then you can move on to this Mathematical Problems in Industry, where you're actually solving a problem that A, industry wants to know the answer to, and B, they think that you all as a team can get that job done in 5 days. And so it's really exciting to work on actual problems that someone from industry has brought and wants to know the solution to. If you attend the graduate student math modeling camp 1 year, then you can continue to come back to the Mathematical Problems in Industry workshop multiple years. Okay, so that's sort of a nice perk of going to this one. This happens immediately following the GSMMC, and the application is sort of the same application, so apply by April 16. There is also a Jean Golub SIAM summer school. This is a 2-week graduate level school that focuses on some sort of topic of special interest each year. And every year it's held at a different location around the world, and it's completely free to attend. We accept 40 students every year. This year, the topic is Frontiers in Multidimensional Pattern Formation. It'll be at Concordia University in Montreal in August. And I don't remember if the application is open yet. Probably not just yet, but pretty soon the application will be open for students who would like to participate in that. Okay, so I have talked about an opportunity at the high school level, one at the undergrad level, a couple at the advanced undergraduate/graduate level. And now this is early career. So if you are done with school and you are moving on to a career, at the beginning of your career, we have a few opportunities that might be helpful to you. This first one is called MGB SIAM Early Career Fellowship. And this is for early career applied mathematicians, providing support for professional activities and career development. So we provide those people some programming, but also some funding so they can attend meetings and develop a cohort. And it's a really awesome program, and hopefully people stay on as SIAM members and become part of membership and participate in our other programs as well. We also have a Science Policy Fellowship. This feels, for me, sort of, I don't know, it felt very far away from my career, thinking about science policy, and maybe it's been the last few weeks that all of a sudden I've been like, oh, this is not very far from my career. Science policy affects us all, right? So this is a way for people to understand how science policy, how do we advocate for science and STEM in DC, right? So these people participate in in-person and remote training, and then they attend SIAM Committee on Science Policy meetings in Washington, DC. They have the opportunity to interface with federal officials and participate in an advocacy day on Capitol Hill. So I think it's a great program, and I feel like everybody should be more aware of this sort of stuff. It feels like increasingly important. And finally, the last of our early career programs is the postdoctoral support program. So if you get a PhD, this program helps you get your research agenda up off the ground, right? So you've had a thesis advisor while you've been working on your research, and now you're going to graduate and you're expected to do research on your own, but maybe you don't feel quite so ready for that. So this gives you a chance to work with another person who would help you help provide mentorship. So it's not your thesis advisor, it's someone from a different institution. And we provide funding so that the two of you could spend significant in-person time together and develop a really strong research relationship. All right. We have more programs than that, actually, but I think these are probably the most relevant. I wanted to talk about some resources for students. So the first one that I would strongly encourage all of you to check out is a careers brochure. It's a free download on our website, or you can order a print copy for $1.50 or something like that. But this has profiles of professional mathematicians. So everything from somebody who just has a bachelor's degree in some sort of math or computational field up to people who are working with a PhD. And you can learn about what types of jobs, like what is their job like, what do they do on a daily basis, salary bands for that particular type of job, what kind of advice do they have if you would want to get such a job. On the website, we have video interviews with a lot of the professionals that are mentioned in there. And we update this every few years. If you want to look back at a previous one, maybe the salary bands are not as accurate, but getting an understanding of what professional mathematicians might be doing in industry or business, industry, government, all those sorts of things. They're really nice brochures. Even the older ones are good to look at, in my opinion. Another resource that we have is called the Big Jobs Guide. So BIG stands for business, industry, and government. And this has a nice conversational and practical tone and answers questions like, what skills can I offer employers? How do I write a high impact resume? Where can I find a rewarding internship? What kind of jobs are out there? Pretty reasonable at $15 if you want to get your hands on that book. I recommend that one too. It's a good one. Other resources that we have a ton of videos on our YouTube channel. So if you just search SIAM in YouTube, you'll see videos for how to prepare for a job, how to interview at a career fair, a lot of videos on what is math used for. So hopefully helping students understand, what do I do with math and what might careers look like. SIAM offers a lot of webinars. A lot of our activities have a regular webinar schedule. We have a job board, a student newsletter, visiting lecturer program. I could keep talking about all of the things that are at SIAM. So there's a lot of stuff. Ways that you should think about engaging with SIAM. If you don't have a student chapter at your school, you should think about starting one. I think that would look good on a resume. I know when I graduated from college, I thought I don't really have that much to put on a resume. So saying that you started a student chapter would be a really nice thing. If you already have a student chapter, consider becoming one of the members of the leadership of that student chapter. You can write an article for SIAM News. Some of these are sort of after you've graduated, the next ones. You could consider becoming an officer for one of our activity groups. You could serve on one of the 20 committees. You could become an editor or referee for books and journals. We have a bunch of prizes. I haven't even mentioned prizes. So you can nominate people for prizes. So I'm going to circle back to that student membership is completely free. And so you can either follow that QR code, or I'm going to drop this link in the chat here if I can in just a second. Come on. All right, I'll have to drop the chat. I'll have to drop the link in the chat in just as soon as I wrap up. But With your free SIAM student membership, you do get membership in 2 SIAM activity groups. So you could pick out 2 that are most interesting to you. Discounts on books and journals, those are all eligible to you, even with your free membership. Discounts on conference registration. You'll get subscriptions to SIAM News and the student newsletter. So it's a really great opportunity. I did want to put my contact information up here. So I'm at kbliss@siam.org, or you can reach us at programs@siam.org. That's the other place that I'll get email. And as soon as I stop sharing, I probably will be able to put the link for that SurveyMonkey that you could fill out to get SIAM student membership. Filling it out is super quick. I think you have to give your name. We do need a mailing address, and then I think you have to tell us if you're an undergrad or a grad student. And other than that, that's about it. So it should be super quick.
I want to thank Karen very much for that and wish her well in her new career there. Obviously,
Thanks.
she enjoys what she's doing, and there's good reason because it's good stuff.
Thank you.